All right. Good morning, everyone. Brad Roltgen here with the Fresno Bitcoin and Cryptocurrency Investors Group. We're getting started a little bit late today. We had a problem with the Zoom link, but we're getting started nonetheless. Today, we are talking about how to explore the crypto economy, where to find out about new coins, new projects, what's going on, maybe politically, how the politics are affecting what we're doing with crypto, and everything in between. So we've got a Google Doc running like we normally do, and you can reference that. There's a link to that in the event page for this meeting, and so you can go back and refer to that anytime. So first of all, I always start with Coin Market Cap is the place to start, and I'm gonna get my screens in order here and share that. Do I have one right here? And too many. There we go. Yeah, and this is the kind of meeting that I enjoy the most, where everybody can interact and jump in with your comments and suggestions on things. So feel free to do that at any time. If you can't get into the Google Doc, you can type in anything in the chat window, the regular Zoom chat, and then I'll try to copy that over as well. All right. Morning, Michael. How are you doing today?
Good morning. I'm doing fine.
Oh,
Just computer issues.
hey, no, and I was in error with that Zoom link, so I got that corrected. So we're all running a little bit late, so glad to have you with us.
Oh, good. All right. All right.
Let's see. So I'm sharing. That's what I'm doing. Okay. Hold on. I'm gonna share there. Back to there. Okay. Share. Yeah, and if there's something that you guys want to share your screen, we can do that too. All right. So where's my Okay, so like we talked about before, CoinMarketCap is a great place to start for information because it's got all of the coins listed, at least all the coins that CoinMarketCap thinks are legitimate. There's always some other newer, newer projects coming up that they may not have listed yet, but once they're quote unquote legitimate, CoinMarketCap usually has those listed. It's listed in terms of market cap, just like the name of the site would suggest. So we've got Bitcoin at the top here, and their market cap currently 587 billion in first place. Second place, we've got Ethereum, 223 billion. And I always like to look at the very top row here. So we've got the market cap of the entire market is 1.18 trillion. And then the dominance, this used to just be Bitcoin listed here, and now they have Bitcoin and Ethereum. So just under 50% is made up of Bitcoin currently. When I got started with crypto, that number was about 65%. So obviously it's better, better to have more players involved and not just one dominant player. And Ethereum's, I mean, they're, what is that, 40% of what Bitcoin is. So that's good to have them up there. You can scroll down the rest and see where their market cap is. BNB's kind of a close third. Tether and USDC, the stable coins, I don't look at too much because they're just a buck and that's what they're supposed to do. So you can go down XRP, up there pretty well. Cardano. So let's pick on Cardano. If you want to find more information on them, you just click on that coin, and then their detail page will open up. And obviously everybody likes the chart, the price chart. So that's interesting to look at. It defaults to just one day, which, isn't very illustrative. So I like to look at, at least a month there. So when you look at it over the last month, it hasn't done a whole lot except jump up and down, which if you're trading, that's a good thing. But long term, it, hasn't gotten too far. Here for a 1 year look, it's down a little bit, just like a lot of other coins. Excuse me. And some of the other links we've got, link to the homepage for the project Cardano here, the Explorers, which if you're not familiar with an Explorer, this is where you can look at. An Explorer allows you to see what's going on the blockchain. And so there's a number of them. Looks like this first one here is the one from the project itself. I'll open that up real quick. And so if you had a wallet address, like your wallet address, for example, or the address at an exchange, you could put that in here and see what's going on as far as activity. And we'll look at another one later. I'll get one of my addresses or something, and we can look at that. So that's what a Explorer is. The community kind of shows, they've got a Medium, they've got a forum, looks like a Telegram channel here, Twitter, all their socials, that kind of thing. So you can learn, more about them, see what's going on, see how much activity is going on. If you hear something from a buddy at work and you go on here and you go on their Twitter feed and they haven't posted in 3 months, and you go on their forum and nobody's posted in, 4 months, sounds like the project is dead, type of thing. And then the all-important white paper. If you haven't seen a white paper before, this is kind of the business plan for the project or the coin or token. And so this is what we're supposed to read to understand what the project is doing, where they're going, what they want to do, that kind of thing. So always, if you're seriously looking at a coin long term, more than just trading back and forth for the day or the month, look at the white paper, see what they're doing. So you understand, what to expect. Maybe, certain times of the year when or X, Y, or Z news happens, the coin's going to go up or down, because of their following. Maybe one of their goals is to provide merchant services. So if merchant services for stores and, retailers, hotels, that kind of thing. And so if Visa announces something that they're adopting crypto, maybe this one goes down because Visa is a bigger competitor, et cetera, et cetera. So just to know what that white paper is. Chat, I don't know if they have I think that's oh yeah, that's the link to their Telegram channel. Michael, is there anything else that you use on CoinMarketCap here? Oh yeah, the other one, the big one here is instead of looking at the overview, if you click on markets, that shows you the exchanges that are currently exchanging that coin, as well as the coin pairs. So for Cardano here, or ADA, I can go on Binance, and this is Binance.com. Unfortunately, the one that we in the US can't use, but it shows you that 14.33% of their volume is trading on this pair. So a lot of people like to trade against USDT nowadays, where that used to be Bitcoin. Now the trading pair with Bitcoin down here is only 1.22%. So what you usually want to do when you find a new coin, you go here, look for it, see which exchanges are supporting it, and then scroll down from the top and pick the biggest exchange or the first exchange you find that you can use, because they're going to have more volume, and which means more liquidity, which means you should get a better price and your trade gets executed quicker. So for like KuCoin here would be the one I would choose, just because I'm not as big of a fan on Coinbase as far as fees, that kind of thing. So I would choose KuCoin and see that they trade against USDT. I would transfer my USDT to KuCoin and then be ready to go. That kind of thing. Sorry, Michael, anything else you wanted to add on CoinMarketCap here?
No, I think you pretty much got it there. This one is a pretty in-depth resource. There's just a lot of information that's in there. I have to admit that there are some things that I just haven't completely gone through with this, but every time I get on there, I seem to find a little something new or a little something interesting. And this does list quite a few coins and a lot of information about it. And I do recommend, as you said, take a look at that white paper. That's a pretty interesting bit of information that we all should know about the coins that we're getting into.
Yeah, you will find that a lot of the verbiage in the white paper is very similar. So you might get tired, like, okay, they're all saying the same thing, which, if they're all trying to do the same project or similar, I mean, they always say, decentralized, speed of use, blah, 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 blah. But, at least they should give you an idea of kind of what they're trying to do there. Okay. Let's jump back to the deal here. Oh, one thing I want to mention, and this is gonna maybe like a group project, and this is kind of a side note, and we'll kind of tail into it at the end. But I was approached this week by what turns out to be a public affairs kind of group, company, that does PR for, campaigns, businesses, political movements, that kind of thing. So I wanted to share that with you because it's obviously political or crypto related. So this is the site. And so if yeah, so they approached me and encouraged me to contact my local representative to talk to them, my local congressman, to talk to them about crypto and kind of, I was like, well, what are your beliefs and this kind of thing? And so they, shared a little bit of that with me. But then when I looked into them, I'm like, okay, well, you're just working for somebody. So I'm trying to figure out, who they're working for. And this is not the PR company. This is like the site that somebody has created and referred me back to. And so my question for you guys is, have you seen this site? Have you heard anything about it? Maybe take a look while we're, working through some other stuff, and we'll circle back and talk about it more at the end. I just wanted to throw it out early so you guys could look at it a little bit, while we were talking about some other stuff. It doesn't seem to be a super in-depth site, but it's digitalinnovationforamerica.com, which sounds very touchy-feely, soft and nice and all that kind of good. So if
I'm
you're
not familiar with it, Brad. I haven't seen this before, but I have heard about places that are, there are pro and con organizations out there, and this seems to me to be like a site that, or an organization that is obviously pro crypto, and so they want you to reach out to your local folks that. Here it used to be Devin Nunes, but I don't know who took over for him. But maybe it's David Valero or something like that.
um yeah, they actually were encouraging me to talk to Jim Costa because he was on or is on the um
Isn't that a state thing? Isn't Jim Costa a state?
no, he's just in a different district. Fresno, the Fresno area covers, there's a few different congressional districts, and I know they've moved around where I had a different congressman at one point, and then it was Jim or Devin Nunes
Mhm.
and that kind of thing, and now they switched around. But I'll just read it here real quick. Yes, it said you can find out more information on the site that is shared. Representative Jim Costa sits on the Agricultural Subcommittee on Commodity Markets, Digital Access, Digital Assets, and Rural Development, which I thought that was kind of interesting. The Agricultural Subcommittee on Commodity Markets, Digital Assets, and Rural Development. So I don't know
Ag
if that,
and crypto, huh?
well,
Wow.
yeah. So I'm like, is that it's an ag subcommittee, and that subcommittee covers commodity markets, which obviously makes sense. Rural development makes sense, and digital assets.
I think they're equating digital assets to commodities.
I agree.
Yeah, yeah. It's and then it goes on to say all future legislation involving cryptocurrency will come through this subcommittee eventually. It is important that he hears from individuals like yourself in his district about the positive impacts of crypto innovation. We feel that he has not met with anyone from his district on this topic since this issue is unpersonalized and legislatures tend to only hear the big names in crypto. So it looks like they're going around, this company was hired by whoever to contact crypto people and encourage them to talk to their local representatives.
Well,
So,
let's head over there this week, Brad. You and me. We'll go as united front. Damn it! I'm telling you, we will hold some sway, my brother.
there you go. When two of us show up, look out. So
Yeah. Well, the NSA shows up. Oh my gosh.
yeah, then that's the other thing. It's like I'm here to speak with
Or
you,
the IRS.
I'm not going to tell you my name or something. No, like
know.
we've talked about, we've got to be legit in the thing. And I'm actually more interested in hearing what he has to share about, what he feels and then what others feel and that kind of thing, is actually in getting some feedback of what's going on back there, as opposed to just relying on the, the quote unquote news or the, crypto news sites, that kind of thing.
I agree, and it's kind of a joke, but it's kind of believed that a lot of what's going on with crypto is, especially with politicians and people that are in power, like the BlackRock folks and things like that, is that it's said that they've been gathering their positions, as it were, right, and that things will really move forward once they're fully loaded up. I find that kind of an interesting perspective, because what does it take you to really get loaded up on that? I mean, how long do you need? It's been going on for years and years. And so, but a lot of people talk about how, like BlackRock, like Jamie Dimon, for example, used to just think Bitcoin specifically was just like trash and dirt. And now they're all for it. And now they provide all kinds of stuff for their customers to trade it and do everything, because they realize they can make money on it. So, it'd be interesting to hear how much honesty you get out of people like Jim Costa as to what they really think is going on. I'd really like to have that type of dialogue to really figure out what's happening behind the scenes in Washington, D.C.
Right.
What is Gary Gensler really thinking? And what are their things? What are they going to do? Because right now, I think Bitcoin is considered a property, and most other things are considered securities. That's why they've been busting down on Coinbase and so forth, as far as I know. Do you agree?
Yeah. But the problem is they haven't clearly defined what the security is. And so, or what you have to do to not be a security, et cetera. So that's what's kind of bugged me.
Right.
But
and that's the thing. I'm wondering, how long does it take for you to really figure this out? I mean, it's been around long enough. I mean, Bitcoin 2009. I mean, what are we, 2014 years roughly come this October since the white paper went out, right?
Yeah. And since I would say since 2017, when, we had that big run up and all that, and we had Ethereum, and, Ethereum really led that charge for all the new coins coming out using Ethereum to quote IPO or ICO into these new coins, type of thing. And that's where it came. It's like, well, wait a minute, what are they doing? And is that a security or not? So, that's 6 years. It's like, come on, how much time do we need?
Absolutely.
Even if they came out with something and then said, oh, 2 years later, we need to amend it because something else happened, because obviously the technology evolves or whatever. But just so anyway, I didn't mean to sidetrack the topic on that, but I wanted to share that because, I get approached once in a while, through the group or whatever. And it's, it's not just me, it's the whole group. And so I want to, include you guys and get your feedback and that kind of thing. So I'll keep you updated if you hear anything about these or run across these guys. Let me know, and we'll kind of go from there.
I think one of the reasons that they look at some of these as securities is because they, to some degree, mirror a stock. in that of a company. So if you're investing in a project, right? They kind of look at that as investing in that project as a company.
Right, right, because it does function as a stock, even if the coin or token is used for the project. It's it's just they're different questions and different answers, and it's not just a stock thing just because it's more involved. Like we don't use IBM stock to do transactions like we do Ethereum or something like that. So it is complicated. Maybe down the road there needs to be 2 or 3 coins, just like Theta. I've followed for a long time where they have the Theta coin, and then they have Theta fuel, which works like gas to cover the transactions and that kind of thing. And you can actually earn either one of those through staking or getting involved with them. So maybe some of these are going to need more than one over time to kind of fit the definitions if they actually ever come out with any. So yeah, good point, Wendy. Thank you. Okay.
Can I just say one point to that? Is
Sure.
that the difference between cryptos and companies is that cryptos typically do not have, I mean, they want it, but most of them do not have a revenue stream. You can't create a PE on them, right?
Right.
So, because nearly all, I mean, I don't know how you say anything has a revenue stream in the traditional banking sense, or excuse me, traditional stock market sense. But I do agree with you, Wendy, that they can look at them as stocks because they try to talk to them as if they're securities. One other quick point, if I may, is that you wonder, is Bitcoin really a currency as opposed to property? I mean, isn't that really the idea behind it to begin with? Is that it is a means of transaction, and what do we transact with nowadays? Whether it's the euro or the dollar or the yen or whatever, those are all currencies. So I don't know, just throw it out there.
Yeah, they're getting blurry where the lines are. Okay, I wanted to show you this Bitcoin Explorer thing, or actually this is for the Binance chain, and give you an example, because this is quite, I think, fascinating. We can literally look at all the transactions on whichever blockchain. So this is BSC scan, and this is for the Binance Smart Chain right here, and I just pasted in a wallet address, and I'm going to click search. And so it's going to tell me that this is the current balance of BNB in that wallet and what the US dollar value of that is based on the current BNB price. Then under this token drop down, these are tokens that are on the BNB blockchain that I've purchased. So this one is called True Badger, and I have, what is this? 8.7 billion True Badgers, and they're currently worth $26.24. So obviously there's a lot of True Badgers that are worth not a whole lot. Then there's some other ones listed here, and these are kind of what people refer to kind of as scam coins or airdrop coins, where they will literally, some scammer or something has given me, like this is a good example, 12,000 of this zeroarmy.io. And so what they're trying to do, and where the scam comes into place, is this is a website, zero.army.io, and definitely don't go there because they're trying to do some kind of a scam. For example, they would want me to go there and then connect my wallet to activate or use or somehow do something with my 12,000 Army tokens. But when I connect my wallet, what happens is they're going to steal my $1.76 of BNB. Now, obviously, like some other addresses, I might have more, but that's the idea. So if you ever see these on your own wallet, you might get all excited. Look, I've got 95,000 P.io coins, or swap8.io coins. This almost looks like a decentralized exchange type of thing. And they literally just send these coins to you, because anybody can make up a coin, and even if it has zero value, they can make these up and then send these to you. So here I got 1.2 million of USD swap.io.
How
So
do
if you
they
ever
get your
see these,
wallet address in order to drop it to you?
I think what they do is, so for example, let me I'm going to answer that by showing you a couple other things. And so these are my transactions right here, where I transferred from the Binance hot wallet to my wallet, these kinds of things. If I go to BEP20 token transactions, these are transactions that were not BNB transactions, but they're other kinds of coins, like the True Badger here. I did 460 days ago on the Pancake Swap. So I'm going to click on this one, the transaction hash, that shows me the detail for that transaction. And where is it here? Actually, I think I can get to it back at the first one here. If I click on, where'd it go? Come on. Okay, True Badger, the token. If I click on that, then it takes me to True Badger. And instead of looking at a wallet information, this is what's going on with the True Badger token. So it's saying that there's 8,949 addresses. There's a total supply of how many of these True Badgers. And then this is the contract address. So I believe what they do is they'll look at that contract address, and let's just click on that. Okay, so here's the contract, and these are all transactions for True Badger. So what they do is they'll look at this address right here. This is the from address where somebody has done a transaction and interacted with the True Badger token. And so they'll monitor this, and maybe once an hour, they'll look at the blockchain, and any new transaction that shows up, they go, oh, here's an active or a live address. I'm going to send them some of my scam tokens. And so by monitoring this specific one or a number of them, they can see which wallet addresses are active. I started to notice this on Tron when I would do a transaction with something, then within like 30 minutes, I get another scam coin or something. But it wasn't until I did something that I actually received something. So they seem to be focusing on people that are active, as opposed to just every wallet address out there. Does that help or make sense?
Yeah, it just never ceases to amaze me how much work people put into scamming.
Right. If they only would, use that energy for good and not evil.
Yeah.
Exactly. But that's how it seems to work. So that's why I think these explorers are super interesting, where you can see what's going on. Sometimes I've had to look at them because I've helped folks that had gotten scammed or think they got scammed, or they're like, wait, what happened? Like a few times they had sent Bitcoin to a BNB address, which is something you don't want to do. But using the Explorer and a couple other things, we were able to actually get their funds back. But we use these tools to actually see the transactions, see where the coins went, and that kind of thing. So it's fascinating because this is the stuff that's all private, in our traditional banking systems. I could never look at Michael's wallet or Bank of America account and see all the transactions he's done. But if I know his wallet address for BNB, for example, I can look and see what he's been doing. And if I can do it, guess who else can do it? Pretty much anybody on that. So But it is a good way to see also as far as projects, how active they are. So like on this one, this True Badger, you know, they haven't had much activity. Where was, you know, over the past, I mean, what do we go back here? 7 days, and this is all the transactions that's been going on. Where if we looked at Cardano, I'm sure we'd see, you know, much more activity kind of thing. So anyway, those are the block explorers, and those are going to be there for each coin has their own, or each, well, let me say, yeah, each coin or blockchain has their own explorers. So like when we looked at the ones here for Cardano, there was a number, and they're generally gonna have the same kind of information. It's just different bells and whistles they might have on the interface, that kind of thing. But a token, if you ever hear the difference there, a token is a project that's on another blockchain. So we're going to call Cardano, you know, that's a coin. They have their own chain. But when we looked at True Badger, that's a token because it's on the BNB blockchain. So they don't have their own chain. So then we call them a token, where BNB, that is the actual chain, we refer to that as a coin, if you ever hear that. Now, a lot of times when we're using those coin that, or those terms, they get used interchangeably, but that's kind of the difference if somebody technical wants to talk about that part of it. Okay, does anybody have any good YouTube channels that you guys follow? I know that seems to be a big way of learning and keeping up with crypto. Let me just open up YouTube and see.
I primarily use Twitter Spaces, Brad.
Oh, okay.
I use Twitter Spaces a lot, or go to Twitter Spaces a lot and listen to different people. So not necessarily, I see YouTube things, but I don't have anything specific on there. But Twitter does provide a lot of interesting spaces. There's a lot of interesting folks that do talk on there. And sometimes you get actual people like the guy who runs Coinbase. You know, I've been in Twitter spaces with him or other people along those lines that, or there was some that I was in with Mark Rubio and then Ted Cruz, you know, just listening to what they have to say about things that isn't specific to, like, specifically about Cardano. I'm looking for the overall gist of where crypto is going in general, you know, just to make sure that we don't get shut down, as they, you know, as it were. You know, I know you can't really shut it down, but they could certainly make it harder for us to do crypto if the government wanted us to.
Right, right. Now on those crypto spaces, I know it's kind of like a live Zoom meeting, and are they automatically recorded as well?
Usually the people who are doing them are recording them.
Okay.
So there are different things that you should do. So you can sign up with different people and you can get alerts as to when they're going to have them. I think that a number of them have other you know, places where you can pick up that information, meaning like you were saying, what else, what was the other place that you were going that let me see, under the explorers or under the community? Click under community there for a second, please.
Let's see, community. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. What is the T1? T.me?
Oh, that's a Telegram.
Telegram. A lot of people have, they're associated with Telegram or they're connected to Telegram, and you can get more information from them there. But I have a list of, the great thing about Twitter is that, you know, you can go and make lists of people. So I have, like, you know, a crypto list, stock list, other types of lists of people that I follow that I like, whether they're chartists or whether they're people who are talking about crypto and they seem to know what they're doing or they know something about mining and everything. And you can glean a lot of information off of that. Obviously, with any social media site, you know, there's always scammers here and there. Just like Wendy was saying, they spend so much time doing that. But there's a lot of good people out there that are providing good information, and I just find that useful to me, and I have for quite a number of years.
Got it. Got it. Okay. If you want to add any of that to the Google Doc here, Michael, if you just click that request access. Oh yeah, Michael Saylor and Plan B. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Tom. Yeah, if you have links there, if you can put them in chat, I can copy them over to the Google Doc as well. I posted a couple over there. I've got crypto tips. I try to follow just because they're real short and they're not super technically oriented, and it's easy for most of us to follow kind of thing. Let's see, Tom had a question. Okay, what do you think about crypto miners? Seems cost effective if they buy mining rigs now if the price goes up. Yeah, okay, so guess we need a link to this Plan B guy. Yeah, Tom, on the Michael can probably speak to mining himself. Where I've seen the scams on that is where they tell you, okay, send us $500 and you get 5% of this mining rig or something like that, and it's going to pay out X amount per day, per week, per month, whatever. And it's just one of those pyramid schemes where they take the money in and they, you send them $1,000 and they start paying you 78 cents a day or whatever. And, and even if they're sending it to you in Bitcoin, well, you've given them $1,000, they can obviously send you, 78 cents or a day, or, 550 a week or whatever number. And it looks like they're making money, but they're just, recycling that funds potentially. So I try to stay away from those. Now, if you want to buy your own rig and there's companies that will host the rig, it's instead of running it in your house using your electricity, they might be in Texas and taking advantage of that methane gas. It's running generators to get cheaper electricity, that kind of thing. That, that might be a more interesting way to go as far as that. But I've seen too many. Cloud mining seems to be the big term on that. So just be cautious
If I
of
may,
that. Yeah.
specifically to Tom's question, is typically a mining rig was a group of GPUs, but that is pretty much dead now that ETH did its change from proof of work to proof of stake, or that whatever they did. So that's really not a thing anymore, because I have a bunch of them that are just sitting over there collecting that. I'm going to just rebuild them all into fast computers for friends of mine. But the other thing is that you need ASIC machines, ASIC, and that's a specialized chip that mines specifically Bitcoin. And you can buy those, but you can't really do it in California at any scale, even one or two, because California just ripped they're just too expensive. Only places like Texas or North Dakota or maybe Florida, which is still a little bit higher. But I don't know. I'll just tell you that it makes me nervous to send my money to somebody else and have them do stuff for me. Like Brad was saying, you just don't know if it's real or not. There are some real ones out there. There is genuine stuff out there, but you have to be really careful. So anyhow, that's mining rigs themselves. Don't buy one from anybody, because they're just trying to sell you stuff that is not going to make any, unless you want to make 50 cents a day for the next 10 years, and then you'll have it paid off in just 10 short years.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Tom, we don't really get into stocks. There's a Bitcoin mining stock. Now that would be okay. We can't talk about everything. But yeah, as a Bitcoin miner stock would be interesting. I know a lot of those have come down lately, and that was the big thing when mining was big, where they're just like, hey, we're making so much money, bring us more funds and we'll build more mining rigs or buildings or whatever. Yeah, Tom, you want to jump in and maybe just give us the rundown on that one a little bit?
Yeah, this company, LMFA, they actually initially were not Bitcoin miners. They were basically, they provided funds to like HOAs, like distress, like debt, basically companies that need some funding, and they're kind of like a loan shark. They give loans to to companies that maybe they potentially cannot pay back, but they charge like a good amount. They charge good interest rate for that risk, right?
Right.
But
Mhm.
I think about a year or so ago, they started to buy mining rigs, and I was looking at them, and they bought the mining rigs at a really good price. They even had like a price protection if the price of Bitcoin went down. They actually got a rebate from the folks they bought the rigs from. And they have they finally got all, I think, most of their rigs up. They had like, I think, one controversy where they paid one of the vendors to host the rigs, but they never did it. But luckily, they were smart enough to distribute their rigs, so it wasn't like a huge impact. Like they didn't put all their eggs in one basket or a few.
Right.
I think just recently they tried to do an offering which killed them. So that's the only thing. Like I think it seems like they are printing bitcoins, and I'm thinking if Bitcoin goes up to considerably higher, then I think they would do pretty well because they're small cap, very small cap company, and they don't have a lot of debt. They don't. I don't think they have any debt. I have to look at it again.
Okay. Well, yeah, and that's the interesting part of mining is if if you're breaking even at the price of Bitcoin currently, and then it
Yeah,
goes up 50%, you're like, well, hey, you're really in the money at that point. And if it 10x's in 3 years,
yeah,
you're really, so I always looked at mining as an investment, not so much, I got to pay back Wall Street, or I mean that's where it was hard because
yeah,
Wall Street, that they want dividends or the stock
yeah,
to go up or something like that. So it's a little bit different.
yeah. That's true. Yeah, I think it's just best just to buy the Bitcoin itself, right? And put it in your own wallet.
Yeah, and put it in your own wallet. Right. We're seeing a bunch of these spot ETFs getting announced, in the last couple of weeks that, hey, BlackRock's going to do this and that kind of thing. But if you believe in Bitcoin and you have 10 grand to throw at it and hold for the next 5 years, just like you said, buy it and hold it. Don't worry, keep the middleman out of it. I mean, that's the real thing with crypto is we have the ability to be 100% in control of our funds, which means we need to be smart about that and be protective, but we don't have to worry about getting scammed or Fidelity going out of business or something like that when we're holding it ourselves. So that's a great point. Good deal. I was trying to find this Plan B.
Yeah, you just go to YouTube, type in Plan B.
Yeah, he's on YouTube. Oh, or he's on YouTube, but he's also a
Everywhere.
lot on Twitter. And you
Yeah.
have to be careful. There's people that try to scam his name,
Yeah.
but uh,
Well, yeah, I typed in Plan B and I got some kind of little racy videos or something. And I'm like, okay, I don't think that's what they were talking about.
that's not the same fellow.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
his-
these weren't
his name is
fellows. Yeah.
100 trillion. He honestly believes that Bitcoin will go to 100 trillion in value.
Okay. I think it's this one that's coming up here but it started playing a video or something. Yeah. So is this the one we're talking about?
I don't know if that's the guy. It might. That's what he looks like, but I
54.
worry. I'm trying to see that at Bitcoin. Let me pull him up on my phone and see what I find. Okay.
Okay.
I think that's right. I'm not sure honestly either.
And he's got 54,000 subscribers.
No, he's
Yeah.
got a lot more than that.
Well, it looks like on YouTube he's got 1.8 million.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plan B is he's got 1.8 million on Twitter.
Yeah.
1.8 million followers, and it is at 100 trillion US dollars. So right there, Plan B, 100 trillion US dollars Twitter. Yeah, there it is. Duh.
Okay.
Guess I
That
could have
one.
looked up, Brad.
Okay. Okay. And well, yeah, because I guess, I mean, he just posts that like in his little, background thing. Okay. So I'm going to post this link over.
But this is a guy that was talking about it's a stock to flow ratio. That's what
Yeah.
S2F stands for, stock to flow, and it is really something that you should investigate a little bit. I think he's Norwegian or something like that, from the Netherlands or someplace up in that part of the world. Nobody really knows what he looks like, but he has some interesting things to say. Check him out on Twitter.
Okay, cool. Cool. Oh, let me get him on
For the
Twitter
most
too.
part, he's been on the money for the most part. I mean, you can't be perfect, especially with Bitcoin. That is humbled anybody who's ever thought of the word Bitcoin a time or two.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Okay, let me try to get his Twitter thing here. 100 trillion. Yeah, and that's a good point that these people aren't always going to be in the US. They might be anywhere in the world, especially if some of them are like, hey, the US isn't crypto friendly, we're going to move somewhere else that is, kind of thing. And I fear that we'll see more and more of that the crypto tips folks, they've renounced their US citizenship years ago and are kind of like digital nomads, and they had been moving around. It's a couple that run that one, and I don't know if they're more kind of in one place now, but they've definitely were like, we don't like where this is going, we're gonna play the digital nomad game on that.
Brad, if I
Okay,
may for a second,
yeah, go for it.
where you had your cursor there, where it says to the lower left, Plan B exhibits trading rule, the image right here.
Okay,
On that little chart, the pink is what he is predicting is going to actually happen. And then the blue is the actual price of Bitcoin. And those are years at the bottom, right? So you can see the pink and the blue are running fairly close together, although it's been down a little bit here. And then right now, we're really below where he thinks we should be at this point. But for somebody who's been talking about Bitcoin over a number of years, he's relatively on track. And that next one is like I can't really see it, but I think it's 100,000, and the one above that is 10 million. So, or maybe it's million.
because these are like not even linear, they're like exponential.
Yeah.
Okay.
What I'm just saying is that that's his general thing. So if you look at these different charts, and you can see what these different the ones that have the color dots in it, those are the number of months away from a halving. And our next halving is approximately mid-April of 2024. So we're like, I don't know, 9-10 months away from the next halving. And so if you see a lot of his charts and where Bitcoin has actually gone, you'll see that this guy is as close as anybody else has been. Let me put it that way. He's an interesting character to know and to follow.
Okay. Well, no, appreciate the feedback. And I don't do a good job on Twitter following, but I guess I'm kind of looking for motivation to maybe that will be to keep up with this guy. And does he post on YouTube fairly often as well?
I don't watch him as much on YouTube as I pay attention to him on Twitter. I'm more of a Twitter animal.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like he's only got these 6 videos. Okay. Because there's some of the, some folks will post every day, like the crypto tips will post, at least once a day type of thing on Twitter, whether it's just, I'm sorry, on YouTube, whether it's just, hey, this news came out, or we found this new wallet, or, whatever.
I think he uses Twitter more. I think he has more
Yeah.
Twitter
Yeah.
and
If his last one was 2 weeks ago. Oh, it looks like maybe he only started 5 months ago.
No, he
No.
started a long
big-
before that. It's just that I think what he does is he just puts the most recent stuff, whatever's going on in that particular year. If you look at 5 months ago was what, February or something like that.
Right.
March.
So maybe deletes his old stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, good. Okay.
Twitter is where you'll really find him talking and so forth.
Yeah. No, and just in general, that's if you're only going to go one place for crypto news, that Twitter definitely is the spot. Good. Okay. Let's see. We've been kind of getting a little advanced here, which is good. But let me circle back to Tom. How are we doing on, helping you? Tom joined early and we were talking a little bit, and so I want to make sure we're kind of helping him out with some of this stuff. And is there anything questions on you have that we can hopefully answer or find some sites for?
Did you say Tom or?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I meant Jim. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm sorry,
okay.
Jim. Yeah, all these iPhones are confusing me. Yeah, go ahead, Jim.
I just had questions if anybody's into staking.
Oh, okay, yeah, let's talk about that a little bit and see if there's I don't know if there's, yeah, go ahead. Let's see how we answer it. Go for it. So you're looking to do it, a certain coin to stake or?
Just information on like probably the best places to get information on what's best to invest in staking,
Hmm.
what sites you might research or
Yeah, the challenge there is that if there's been a lot of exchanges that have supported staking, but the problem there is you're leaving your coins on, an exchange, and you have, potential for loss there if the company goes out. I don't know, what was the one that there was we had talked about it a couple years ago.
Or no, a couple of years ago.
Yeah, well, I can't think of it. And they were doing all kind like loans and that whole thing like everybody else was doing, and then all of a sudden, like a week after FTX goes down. No, I think they went out down before FTX.
Oh, FTX tried to bail them out, right? Let me
I
see.
think,
Let me
yeah,
see.
there all that, funds going back and forth between these exchanges. So where I was trying to go with that, Jim, is that it can be potentially dangerous because you're not in control of the coins completely. You might want to look at a coin that where their native wallet supports staking for that coin. There's some coins that how they're structured and how they're set up, they have staking like built in, like that True Badger that we saw. I got into that a couple of years ago when they first launched, and just by holding the coin, you would earn more of the True Badger tokens. And there's some others like that where if you would put them into the wallet, like Theta also did that, where you could, if you put the coins into the Theta wallet, you click on staking, and you would earn there. But if you held the coins in a different wallet, you didn't have that option, that kind of thing. But at least when you're doing it in a wallet, you're not dependent on that exchange, to stay in business, so to speak. And Tom, I was thinking that started with an N. Oh man.
I'm trying to Google. I don't see it on Google. I thought says acquire Blockfolio. That's different in August
Yeah,
2020.
staking.
Because yeah, FTX before they were found out as a scam, they had supposedly so much money they bailed out some other company. I think is what you're referring to.
Mm-hmm. Oh, when I find I'm gonna slap myself in the head for not remembering it quicker.
Is it Voyager?
No, that's oh man, I remember hearing about that one for years, and then people were really into it, and I never got it, really looked at it, but then I was like, dang. I don't know. Jim, is there a certain rate of return you're looking at or hoping to get? Or have you looked at some that we're offering a range?
no, I had looked at a site that just showed the best rates of return on staking. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's start there. If you want to, can we throw that out and we can look at that together and maybe,
I lost track of that site. I don't recall where I saved that. So
let's see if we can find anything, because it's gotten harder. Oh, neat. If I can find these older ones. If we went back a couple of years, it would be listed. Yeah. Let's look at Pancake Swap. Not finance is the biggest DeFi exchange on the Binance chain. And so you can go here using your BNB smart chain tokens and oh, now it's trying to connect my wallet. I don't want to connect the wallet yet. Just show me the options. Yeah, so they've got 1.5 billion staked with 1.5 million users. Oh, in the last 30 days. Let's see, earn farm.
You
Okay,
know,
so
if the moon is made of pancakes, I just ate some moon this morning.
yeah. You and after this one launched, it was like all of a sudden all these things were coming out and they were all food based. I was just cracking up that what they were doing. So let's look at a pool here, and this is just where you would take one specific coin and earn, a return on that. So here's an example where if you stake cake, which is the token for Pancake Swap, you would earn 3.3% or 3.39% on your funds there. And here's one where if this is a big one, so let's look at this one, where you can earn up to 14%. And so these numbers were nowhere near what they were a couple of years ago. Kind of thing. That's why when I asked you that, Jim, I was just trying to see kind of what your what your perspective was or hopes to earn.
Yeah, I think this was a site I used to look at, and at one time there was giving returns of 25%.
Right. And so here, if you now these are farms where you put in 2 tokens or coins, and then they work together. And so to me, these make a lot of sense because this is similar to the money exchangers in an airport, where like here in Fresno, you're gonna fly to Mexico, you give them $500 in US dollars, they give you $500 or $490 in pesos, kind of thing. So to me, is the farm is the equivalent of that guy at that booth where he needs, $500 in US dollars and $500 in pesos. And as people come through trading back and forth, those are the 2 coins that he's trading, type of thing. And so obviously the more liquidity or more funds he has of both of those, then he can trade back, back and forth. Because if he only has, $100 of each, and I come along and I want $500 in pesos, he can't help me. He can maybe do $100, and they has to wait till somebody coming from Mexico to trade back the other way, kind of thing. So here we've got 48%, 77 for these different tokens. Now it does make sense, like, to trade if you can get that kind of a return with a stable coin like BUSD is the stable coin on the BNB blockchain. And so that's not going to go down in value theoretically, because the other tough part here is you could get some crazy return, on like GAL and BNB. BNB is pretty stable, but GAL, I don't even know what GAL is, but that could, go down easily. And I've been involved in some of those where I was making 3% a day, but then after a week, the coin went down 40%. And I'm like, did I really win? Kind of thing. So you got to be cautious there. But that's where these are nice where you have, like, here would be an ideal one, BNB and BUSD. Those should be, BNB is like, what do we say, the number 5 or 6 coin. So it should be fairly stable. And if you can earn 17% on that, that should be, pretty safe compared to this Pendle or these ones I've never heard of. Maybe they're good. I just never heard of them, but I would rather invest in something that I've, heard of at least. So those
There
would be
was a
those kinds of.
Chat GPT coin in there, Brad.
Oh gosh. And see, that's what these people will do is they'll come out with,
Right
yeah,
there. Yeah,
they'll come out with a coin that
but $28,000 in stake liquidity, you know, it's bogus.
yeah, that's nothing. They'll come out with a coin just because it's in the news cycle or whatever. There was a bunch of these back a couple years ago. There was like a coin that supposedly mirrored Tesla and all these other companies, Amazon and this kind of thing. And I don't know, everybody was trying, different ways to make money. Hey, I'll come out with a token that mirrors Tesla. And then if I can make, a 0.5% on the volume, that might have been all good, but I don't even know if they're still around, kind of thing. Here's that Pepe coin that was big a couple months ago. I don't know what that's doing now. So anyway, these are some of the numbers that you could, potentially get doing it this way. And at least here, when you're staking or in a farm, you're in control of the funds unless, this whole Pancake Swap people, go out of business or this kind of thing, but they've been around for a while. Oh, and now they're migrating. That's always fun because they'll update these contracts, and so sometimes it can be a little work. As far as that goes. Okay, Jim, does that answer your question or give you more questions?
Yeah, I just wondering if anybody invests in this way in this group.
Yeah. Wendy, have you done much with staking or just some of those simple ones in the wallets?
No, I haven't done it at all. Every time I look at it and I think, oh, I shall try this, then something happens and I go, oh, maybe I better not.
Yeah.
The thing is that I don't do this either, Brad. I'm basically a buy and hold guy. But if you want to earn something that's right now, you can get a 3-month CD for like 5.25%. I mean, if you wanted to buy something that's 5% or something with really no risk at all, it's not going to go down or up. You can get almost 5.5 at 6 months now.
Yeah, and that's been
It's
unheard
not
of for
crypto,
so
I get
long.
it, but
Yeah. It's bugging me that I can't think of that other site, but it's not around or whatever, I don't think. But that's the one that kind of sticks with me because it had been so good for so long. But yeah, some of these, I mean, we learned a lot with the FTX, just following the money is everything they were involved with back and forth. And, who knows how much of this stuff was real, and that's why it's going away. And, we're seeing the 3 and 4 or 5% on some of those returns, just like what Michael's talking with the CDs where, crypto is supposed to be better than that or, better returns, but
I'm just curious, can
Yeah.
you explain how they actually pay anything above 5 or 6%? How do they pay 12 or 17, a reasonable return as opposed to those 100%? How is that being paid?
well, when you're in a farm, you get a percentage of the fee for those transactions that goes back and forth. So if you're in this cake and B&B and people hear about something and all of a sudden they're like, oh, I need to buy cake. And so they come in here and into the pool and there's a bunch of people buying and their volume goes up 4-fold. Well, your return is going to go up 4-fold unless the volume of the money goes up 4-fold. Because all the people in that pool are just getting a chunk of the money. So say, for example, there was that guy at the airport is trading $1,000 a day and his fee is 2%. And he says, okay, anybody that puts money into this pool, or the fund, I'll split it with you. So if I have $1,000 in there and he's doing $1,000 a day, I'm the only, I've got all the funds in that pool. And so he gets 1% of that. I get 1% of that. Well, if somebody comes along the next day and puts in another $1,000 and he's still only trading $1,000 worth of funds back and forth. Now I'm only going to earn 0.5% because he's got to pay the other person 0.5% type of thing. But then the next day, if the volume goes up to $5,000 he's trading a day, and there's only $2,000 in the pool, now what am I going to get? 2.5%? Because the other guy gets 2.5%, whatever the numbers are. So that's how it varies. And when I would start with a liquidity pool or a farm, it would be, real high because there wasn't that much liquidity in there. And then as it goes down, your return went down. But that's usually where the funds come from in the farms. And so it just depends on how much activity there is. And so that, whether they're earning 12% or 40%, it's just a result of the activity and how much funds are in there and how much of my funds are getting used, type of thing. Does that make sense?
And
Hopefully.
crypto is supposed to be so simple.
Well, it started that way, but then people are like, hey, what if we do this? Because this whole DeFi thing has only been around for 4 years, kind of thing, where we didn't even have these things, going back 5-6 years ago. It wasn't, I don't know when it exactly started. Like Uniswap on the Ethereum chain is where it started.
Do you think they call them derivatives?
No, well, those like the Tesla example, where you could buy the Tesla coin, that it was supposed, would that be considered a derivative? Well, it was supposed to mirror the price of Tesla, and Amazon was supposed to mirror the price of Amazon. But it's like, where does the, if you put your coins in there, where does the money come from if it goes up? If you wanted to cash out, so yeah, that's why I'm not running one of these, because I don't fully understand. Now I understand the farming thing back and forth. That's pretty straightforward.
Are
But
the
the
are
other
the
ones,
guys that are trying to mirror those companies, are they investing those funds in that company and then you get a percentage of?
oh, right. That's what they should be doing. Right. And it's a way to play Tesla with your crypto. Yeah. That's what they should be doing. And that's what they should be doing with these ETFs and Bitcoin, where up until now, we've just had futures Bitcoin ETFs. Now they're trying to do just a spot. So if I put $1,000 into that BlackRock ETF, then they're supposed to buy $1,000 worth of Bitcoin. Just like you have a gold ETF and a silver ETF. But supposedly those guys don't always have all the backing that they're supposed to. So that's where we run into trouble. Yeah. No, thank you, Wendy.
I
That
think
was
one of the reasons that they're trying to make these things into not commodities, but securities, is because everybody's trying to make money off of them as if they were securities. So if you come out with an Amazon coin that is tagged to Amazon because you are investing the money that you took in to give out the coin in Amazon, the Securities and Trade, they're gonna say, wait, that's just an ETF on Amazon, or that's just, what I mean, and so they wanna control it. You're trying to bypass the stock market by doing this other thing, and whether that person's trying to do it or not is immaterial, but they want to control it. They want to control everything.
yeah, you're right, because that becomes like a crypto, equivalent to an ETF. Yeah. So, yeah, Michael, it's not simple. It's Satoshi started it that way, but then people saw, oh, I can do this, I can do that, and yeah, it's like, how, is it all real? Because when it's going up, everybody's happy, but then when it goes down, then you're like, wait, what's really going on here? Type of thing. Tesla coin is a trading platform using its own crypto. Tesla says, holy cow. Okay. Michael,
That's
explain a little
according
more
to
with the,
Google. That's according to Google. It says Tesla Coin is a trading platform that distinguishes itself from its competitors by using its own cryptocurrency, TES, as a store of value. It allows users to trade major cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin and Ethereum without the need for human interaction. That was of April 2023. And then I looked a little bit further. It says TES price live data. The coin Tesla coin is worth 0.002359, which has a current market cap of $186,000. So it's basically, in my mind, non-existent.
yeah, that's not
You got a
enough to
cap
worry
of
about.
less than, you know,
Yeah,
$100 million. You're really nothing.
right. Yeah, in the scheme of things, you know, it's
Yeah, I was
you.
just throwing that out for you.
Yeah, no, and you know, maybe that could have been a great idea, or maybe it started out, or who knows. I mean, all these projects started out small. You know, Ethereum didn't start off with, you know, $200 billion. You know, they started a little smaller, but doesn't make sense. And I mean, if you look at this other number, oh my gosh, now this is the number of cryptos that are on CoinMarketCap, and that's just mind-boggling. 26,000. You know, do we need 26,000 coins, tokens? Come on. So yeah, how many of those are dead? I know, I think at a previous meeting, we talked about how many, you know, hadn't seen any use in 12 months or this kind of thing. And there was a site that was tracking that kind of info, like, you know, like 78% of the coins on here hadn't had a transaction in 12 months or something like that. So yeah. All right, let me circle back to our spreadsheet here. What are there? I added blogs. Are there any good blogs? I don't know if that's a thing anymore. If everybody wants the videos or the, you know, either the full length video or just a quick summary on Twitter. But are there any, you know, maybe specific crypto sites that you guys follow? You know, I added CoinDesk and Cointelegraph are kind of my two go-tos for news. I figure at least it, you know, if it's actual news, at least one of those should cover it, if not both. And then they probably have their, you know, kind of inside investigation feature stories as well. But any other specific websites? Holy cow. Oh yeah, I'm seeing on this Plan B on Twitter. Yeah, this looks interesting. I'll have to try to keep up with that. Okay, what other areas do we have? Blogs, news sites. Yeah, any other news sites that you guys use, or just getting it straight from Twitter?
Well, the thing about Twitter is it aggregates a lot of things that are put out there in the world. So you can link right off of Twitter and go to Forbes or go to
Wherever the article is posted, yeah.
wherever the articles, yeah. You know, now some of them are from some obscure little website somewhere, and so you have to take it with a grain of salt.
For sure. Yeah, but maybe that guy's got some point, and I guess it was valid enough that somebody posted on Twitter, unless they were just trying to shill for him or her.
Well, the interesting thing about Spaces is that people get to, I mean, I've spoken on there before, but just to sit and listen to back and forth of people debating particular issues about a coin, about what's going to happen or this or that. There's a lot of information you should glean off of that is not necessarily in an article form. It's relatively informed people or very informed people who are speaking about crypto or specifically Bitcoin or other coins that are giving you information based upon, you know, what their opinion is or what their skill with that particular crypto, you know, what they're bringing to the table, their level of understanding of it. So I don't know. Apparently, I'm shilling for Twitter today.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think they need any of our help on that. Okay. Let's see. Frank, I know he was just on his phone. Any questions or anything else you were looking for, Frank? If you want to throw those into chat or you know, the other thing I always like to use the meeting for is is to help anybody get over a hurdle or around a roadblock that they've had, you know, in the past weeks or months. If they're, you know, if you're trying to do something, then, you know, maybe we can put our heads together and help you solve a problem, kind of thing. Okay, Frank or Wendy. Wendy, where are you at? Or I know you were a little leery of some of those, the staking like we talked about. Is there anything you're trying to do or do next?
No, not specifically right now. I'm just trying to accumulate a whole Bitcoin so that, you know, and then I'll build a couple of Ethereum in my wallet. And then you know, that's basically all I'm doing right now. I'm a stock and options trader, and I spend most of my time doing that.
Got it.
I understand that it's not that I understand it way better. I've been doing it for a lot longer, and it's easier to do. I also am reluctant to do any crypto stuff in an environment where it can be tracked. And so you know, I buy all my crypto through a DeFi network that you know, isn't an actual exchange. And
Not a
yeah,
centralized exchange. Okay.
yeah, right.
Okay. So when you say you're wanting to accumulate a Bitcoin, that kind of struck a nerve with me because I've been trying for the past year and a half. I've been trying to focus more on accumulating Bitcoin as well. Are you doing anything in crypto to earn that fun, or are you just, you know,
I'm just buying.
just buying? Okay.
I did buy. I do have two. Let's see. One of them is kind of a minor. I don't even remember the name of either one of these that I bought. I bought. It's for the. You probably would recognize it. There's a radio frequency, a radio network that somebody
Oh,
set up.
the helium.
Yeah, helium. So I have a helium miner, but I have not gotten around to setting it up because I
Oh,
wasn't sure I wanted you know, the radiation from the thing in my house.
right.
And I also have another one. I have is it a Cordal? I have a Cordal, which is a computer. It's a computer network that's being set up so that it's kind of like an alternate internet. And the idea for it got started when people were being deplatformed and being pointed at or accused of having misinformation, you know, during the pandemic and stuff. So this
Right.
network was being set up so that people who were deplatformed would have someplace else to go and still be able to steer people to them without, you know, without it being taken down by, you know, the big companies that are running Facebook and all that kind of stuff. So
Right. So is that a social networking,
well,
or
it's
is
a
it?
network, and I don't know that I can just give it explain it properly, but it has. I mean, I'm not sure I can explain it well because
Is
I've never
there?
set it up. But
y-
I can use the device. The device that the Cordal, the device I can use as a regular computer, but in the background, it's part of the network that is, you know, hosting websites and hosting, you know,
Cool. Oh,
social media stuff and
okay. I haven't heard of what's the, can you spell it?
QUORT. I think it's AL.
Huh.
And and if you run the device, you earn the crypto for it, a quart, I think it is QURT. And but you know, I have so many projects going on and my hands in so many pots that you know, I have a hard time some days telling which way's up.
Yeah. Um, okay.
QUORT is in Tom.
ORTA.
AL.
Oh, here,
I
yeah,
think
here,
it's-
Quartal.org. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Um,
Yep, that's it.
okay, interesting. I'm gonna research that a little bit. And as far as the buying the Bitcoin on a decentralized, how where do you do that?
Uh, so I've said before I've been a participant of your thing for a while. I
Yeah.
just don't show up very often. And I don't remember the name off the top of my head. I'm having memory issues right at the moment.
No
But
worries.
it's a network. You can buy and sell, but you're doing it with an individual person.
Oh,
You're
oh yeah.
you're
Mm,
you're listed, I'm listed. It says how long you've been on it, and it says how long I've been on it, and I can pick and choose. I can
right.
pick and choose the price.
Like local Bitcoins?
It's like local Bitcoin, but it's not.
Okay, there's something similar. Okay, okay.
It's the software resides on your computer. There is no place where this happens. It's on your computer, and it's completely peer to peer. So my software will communicate with your software to execute the actual trade, and you can pay it. So you don't link your bank account to it. There's no link to your bank account. You pay either like with Zelle or is it Stripe, or you can pay with Amazon gift cards. You can pay with you can pay with cash if you're willing to meet the person in person,
Okay.
or you can do it through the mail. There's multiple different ways. It's also international. There's people all around the world that are making these trades, and so you pick what format you want to trade in. Like, so I'm connected through Zelle and through Amazon gift cards. And, so I have paid people in Amazon gift cards to buy Bitcoin.
Bitcoin. And then can you transfer the Bitcoin to your own, like a ledger or Trezor?
Yep.
Okay, okay.
So there's a wallet linked to the software, and then you can just put in the address that you want it to go to from there, and you just transfer it into your own wallet.
Wow. Okay. When you get that or whatever later on next week, next month, if you could send me a link to that, I want to kind of maybe put that on the list to talk about on a future meeting.
I'll walk upstairs and find it. It's on my computer. I was down in the kitchen making breakfast.
Ah, okay. No
But
worries there.
I'm done, so I'll find it before we get off the phone.
Oh,
or off the
perfect.
call.
Okay. Appreciate it. Oh, let me answer Tom's question. Recommend wallet to use. Tom, let me put this in chat and I add it to the Google Doc there. This is a page on my website. I do crypto coaching, kind of on the side around, it's not my day job. It's, from time to time. And so I put this page together. Let me share it. Because I got that question so often, I'm finally like, I got to write this down. So this is a list of wallets and exchanges just to get started with. And so I've got, kind of the recommendation and then why, and that kind of thing. And I guess I need to update it to take off Bittrex because that's not a thing anymore. But definitely like Exodus might be a good one because you can do it on your computer or your phone or, or both. Now, Robinhood, that scares me. The last time I looked at Robinhood, it wasn't quote unquote real crypto in the sense where you could send crypto to the platform or take that off. I don't know if that's still the case or if they actually allow you, to send crypto there. So, unless and before you could do that, you're just paper trading, in my opinion, because you're not actually dealing with crypto. They're just, just like we talked about those, the mirroring, the Tesla stock, that kind of thing. That's all that Robinhood was doing. until they actually let you pull the funds off of there. I don't know if that's the case anymore. Have you been able to do that, or is that what you're looking to do now?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking to do. I don't. Yeah, I just have it in. I just have my Robinhood account.
Wow. Okay. And you can go in there and transfer, 0.1 Bitcoin or 0.2 Bitcoin off of the thing.
I've never tried.
Okay.
I want it to a private wallet. Because I see.
Yeah. Well,
Uh, that's
definitely try, because right now you're in the danger position
yeah.
in not having it on there, unless you're trading it. Now, if you're trading it
No.
daily, then that's one thing. But if you're not, then you want to get it off of an exchange onto something where you control the private keys.
Okay, so just follow the link that you provided. Should help me get started.
I would read through there and
Okay.
and start with like step 4, the Exodus wallet, because you can do it both on your phone and your wallet. Well, and it's free. Oh, there it is. Celsius Network under staking coins on
Okay.
my own dang page.
Yeah, Celsius.
Yeah, so that was the one that used to be good. So I do need to update this page. So
Yeah.
for sure. But yeah, and they, if you don't like Exodus wallet in 6 weeks, you haven't paid for it, you can transfer your coins off of it to something else or whatever.
Is
So
Gemini okay? Do you have Gemini there? Is there that one?
no. I tried Gemini and it I think I was surprised how few coins that it supported.
Okay.
Now keep in mind, this list is for people just getting started, and it's like, what should I do next, Brad? And here's the list. It's not trying to be everything. It was just, some people maybe bought Bitcoin in PayPal or something like that, and now they're trying to do something else. So this was just to get people started.
So there's no recommendation, more of just a list? Like, is it
Well,
vetted?
no. I recommend these because when I put this list together, I had used them for years and years.
Oh, okay.
So for like Exodus, it's like it's been around quote unquote forever compared to some of these new ones, type of thing. And so because what would happen is people would hear something new and they'd ask me, well, what about this XYZ wallet? I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know, it just came out, but I know Exodus has been around and there's like, an update every week to the software, on the phone, or maybe not quite that bad, but they do update frequently, type of thing. So I knew these were safe because this is what I use, it's like kind of thing. Now there's always new and improved coming along, but you could start here and be in good shape.
Okay. But isn't Robinhood, they're FDIC, right? Up to 250K of one on an account.
Yeah,
But
and do you know how long the FDIC has to
oh,
pay?
yeah, true.
And it's again in crypto, that's one thing when it's dollars and stocks and all that. But in
Yeah.
crypto, we have the ability to be in complete control
Yeah.
of things. So Exodus, when you set it up, you'll get the 12-word seed phrase. You'll write those down, and if you have those, you're in complete control.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to remember, not your keys, not your money.
Yeah, not your keys, not your coins, not your tokens, not your money.
Okay. Yeah, better do that then.
Yeah.
That's not all right.
Yeah, no, that's literally like this afternoon. That's what you want. Even if nothing ever happens to Robinhood, a good example is Coinbase and XRP 2.5 years ago, and all this malarkey came down on XRP. Coinbase said, okay, you can't trade XRP, you can't take XRP off of our platform. So if you had $1,000 in XRP 2.5 years ago, it's been locked up ever since.
Yeah. Understood. Yeah.
And that's a real, that happened. That could happen, to any of the other 100 coins as well. Now, and it's been hilarious because there's other exchanges that trade XRP. I can send my XRP to you and back and forth, wallet to wallet, or on KuCoin or the other ones that support it. So it's not even that something happened to the coin, the entire universe. It's just Coinbase said, hey, we're going to lock up and not support this now. It wasn't like, oh no, we're going to sell it and give you the dollars. So if you had $500,000 in XRP, it's still sitting there. and you might be pissed. So I'm sorry to be so adamant, but this is one of those things that you don't want to be on the wrong side of it, and it's easy to be on the right side of it. So that's my deal. Okay, Wendy, thank you. Bisq, I have heard of that before. I don't think I looked at it for more than a second, but I will do that, and we can talk about that at a future meeting as far as that goes.
I have
Yeah.
had positive experiences with it since I started using it. I've had a couple technical glitches, and I've always been able to work it out with the other party that was involved in the trade or the sale or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a way, you know, there's a method to communicate back and forth to let the other person know how things are going, and if you're having a hard time, you know, transferring the funds or something. But I've had a couple glitches, and we've just, you know, been patient with each other and worked it out, and everything was fine.
Cool, cool. Great to hear. No, that's what we're looking for is kind of these personal experiences and that kind of thing. So
So
awesome.
the Bitcoin price would be basically whatever the market is, Wendy, or I mean, you're saying it's a peer-to-peer, but like, is it marked up or how's that? Normally.
So there's two ways to use it. First of all, you have to download the software, which I was very leery about in the beginning, but I don't have a problem with it now. I've never had anything happen. And they do frequent updates so that, you know, they're constantly trying to keep it secure. But there's two ways to trade. You either go in and look through other people's offers. So if you want to buy, you go in and you look at the buy tab, and
Okay.
you look at what people are offering to sell the coins to you for, and you pick the one that you're willing to accept the price. Generally speaking, people are trying to sell their coins for, you know, a small percentage above what you might get on an exchange. But I haven't noticed a huge difference in price to make it me want to go use a centralized exchange. The other way to do it is if you want to buy something, is for you to put in an offer to buy. And so somebody who's looking to sell will then go down the list and find your offer to buy and go, okay, I'm willing to sell to them for that price. And usually, depending on how antsy I am or how quickly I want the sale to go through, I pick a price. I do the offer, because it turns out that I pay a smaller fee to the platform if I make the offer than if I take the offer. I learned that. So now I always make offers to buy. And I just, you know, I basically decide how much money I'm willing to pay for it on any given day. And so I set the offer to be whatever percentage above the current price is the price I'm willing to pay. And then somebody comes along, usually within a day or two, and accepts the offer, and I've made the sale, and, you know, everything's cool.
Awesome.
Thank you for explaining that. Yeah.
Yeah. So there, what you'd want to do is after you get the Bitcoin onto the software on your computer there, then you'd want to move it over to Exodus or Trezor or Ledger, you know, that kind of thing.
Right,
It looks
right.
requires you to use a desktop, not just mobile app. It's both, right? You have to have both.
I don't know. I have the software on a laptop. I don't know if there's a mobile app.
Yeah.
Doesn't
App.
look like it.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
not? I
Well,
just
on their downloads, I would think they would have like a link to the App Store. I'm going to look on
Yeah,
app
I'm
stores
not
and see.
aware, but that's just because I don't do apps. I don't want apps on my phone.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Hey, let me delete this one. Shit. I just downloaded BizQ. Delete.
Well, I found one here. It looks like BizQ
Uh,
notifications.
I
Yeah.
would
That-
go to Bisq.network, and I would read through their stuff before I did anything. because
Yeah.
they do have a pretty complete set of information that you can read through. They have all the instructions on how to use it, and I would, before I did anything, I would read through it and make sure that that's
Yeah.
kind of what you want to get into. But
Yeah,
I'm happy with it. I looked at another platform. I can't remember the name of it. The other platform was more popular, but it looked harder to understand for me. And I thought the pricing was worse. I thought I had to pay more over the price of the current price of Bitcoin
Mhm.
to make the trade.
yeah, it looks like the Bisq app is just a notification tool.
Oh, okay.
I see it for both Apple and Android. And just a heads up on that, there's usually much more crypto support for Android phones, where Apple's a little stricter in that regards.
Yeah, and there's a benefit to I guess if that app is for notification, the idea is if you're paying, let's say you're buying Bitcoin and you're paying with an Amazon gift card. I
Mhm.
think you only have like 48 hours to complete the transaction. And so having the notification lets you know that someone has accepted your offer and to go in and take care of it. But if you're paying with Zelle or Stripe, I think you have up to 5 days to complete the trade, because sometimes Zelle doesn't go through very fast. So whatever method you have chosen to pay in, there's a certain number of days that the platform will allow this transaction to stay active before it'll close it out, saying that you didn't complete your end of the bargain.
Is there a consequence for that when you don't do?
So the person who makes the offer can choose how much money, it's not money, it's how much Bitcoin you're going to put up in an escrow to make sure the transaction goes through. And if you're the person that's deemed to have screwed up the transaction, you could lose your part of the escrow.
Oh,
So for me, I always my default is I always choose a third of whatever the offer is. So if I'm offering to buy 0.01 Bitcoin, then I'm asking, I require both of us to put up 0.0033 Bitcoin as collateral or escrow. And then, but at the completion of the trade, if both of you sign off that the trade went through, and everybody's happy, then you get that money back into your wallet.
oh, okay.
So the escrow funds comes from your Bisq wallet /
Yes.
computer. Okay.
Yeah. So that's
Okay.
why
That's a good way to do it. Yeah. Then so
you keep a little bit of Bisq in your Bisq wallet. You keep a little bit of Bitcoin in your Bisq wallet so that you can put the money up, to ensure that the trade is, some people do half of the trade, some people do, I don't know, but there's also Bisq, a coin that you can use to pay for the transaction as well, and that means that's cost you less dollars in the end if you use the Bisq. But I haven't been able to figure out how to buy the Bisq, so I just keep using Bitcoin. It's easier.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, we'll definitely have to explore that a little more, because I know it's come up, but we haven't got into it even this
I
much.
mean,
So
I'm happy to sit down with somebody or with the group and show you my desktop. I'm just not on my desktop computer right now with the call. So, but I can walk you through things, and then maybe somebody can say, "Hey, Wendy, look at this link over here. Did you think of using this?"
yeah.
But
Yeah, it looks like there's not much activity on Coin Market Cap about it when you said the Bitcoin. Then I jumped over there.
Oh, there probably isn't, because I think the only thing it's ever used for is the transactions within their own network.
Yeah, yeah. So it's almost even not
I don't think,
a crypto, so to speak, if it's just
yeah,
internal or
it's
something.
just
Okay.
used. So you have to pay a small amount for the, I guess it's gas or whatever, you know, for
Gas
the
fees or
transmission.
transaction fees, right?
Yeah, right. And you can pay these transaction fees with BISC rather than Bitcoin, and it's cheaper dollar wise if you pay with BISC rather than Bitcoin. But it just seemed like an extra step to me, and you know, it's still, you know, pennies.
Right. Relatively, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Just pay it
So
and move on. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, well, we're about running out of time here, but we started off kind of slow and it turned into a much better meeting. Again, I apologize for the mess up with the Zoom link, but I guess those things happen. Any other final questions? Jim or Frank, I know you're still listening. I think Tom, I think we helped you a good chunk today for sure.
Yeah.
Hopefully you
Sure.
feel that as well. Okay, good. Michael, any thoughts, questions come up at the end here?
No, just another good session. I appreciate all the input from everybody.
Excellent. All right, and I will get the recording of this posted here later today, and we will go from there. If you have any topics for a future meeting, always, shoot me a text message, meetup message, email, whatever, and we'll go from there. Always looking for other topics and hope to see you guys locally here in town. Jim, you said you're in the area. We meet. I think it's about 2 weeks at me and Ed's on Willow between Alluvial and Knees to meet in person. There's no topic. It's kind of just meet and chat and kind of discuss there. So hopefully we can see it.
So
Good deal. Good deal. And Tom, where were you from? I don't know if I asked.
I'm in Mariposa.
Oh, Mariposa. Okay. Well, maybe meeting us might be a good enough reason to join us sometime. If not, we'll give you a meeting by Zoom, but glad to have you on either way.
Hey, you guys are in Fresno, right?
We're in Fresno. Yeah. I mean, we started by meeting in at Bitwise years ago. And then with COVID, we went to the Zoom and it kind of opened up to folks all over the state and even the country. But as Bitcoin goes down in price, there's kind of less activity and less people at the meetings kind of thing, but we just keep going regardless. And so now we're doing both, one in person a month and then the one via Zoom each month.
Yeah, I could definitely make it. Just
Yeah.
you put it in the meetup.com, right?
Yeah,
And
it says at a meeting, it's generally about the third Sunday of the month, and this Zoom is usually the first Saturday of the month, and so you can try to kind of stagger them, but it always depends on holidays and that things like last week we were avoiding 4th of July weekend type of thing, so that's kind of how we roll. So good.
Yeah.
All right, guys, have a great rest of your day, and we will see you and talk to you soon. Take care.
okay, thank you. You too.
thank you.
Bye.
Thanks again and bye.